Hi everybody, Kathleen here. Wanted to give you a synopsis of what my leaving Philadelphia and arrival into Mayo, Ireland was like. First of all, the trip to get here was great. Best one I've ever had. I don't know what the magic was, but nice Uber ride to the airport. And then the plane itself was great because I I got off the plane and I wasn't tired and I had only slept 2 hours, probably due to the fact that I upgraded to business class. So that was probably the main reason. And then when I got off, in the past, I've had to take a regular bus, which sometimes are a little bit older. But now there's a new bus, a CityLink bus, which is more of a private bus and with luxury seats. And so I was able to take that, and it went directly into Claremores, where I'm staying. So theoretically, I could have walked from that bus stop right to the apartment. However, I did have somebody come and meet me. And so I settled in for the 3 hour bus ride, sort of like the 3 hour tour, from Gilligan's Island. And it was a dismal day. It was overcast. I mean, I think we left at 7 o'clock in the morning, and it was really overcast and rainy, and just watching the trees whiz by as I was going around, on the ride. And I was looking at them and I was noting different things about them, seeing how there was all different ones. There were trees that looked like they didn't have any leaves on them, ones that had bushes around them, one that were tall and spiky, some that were short and broad, and some had light going through them and some there was no light going through them. So what's all this about? Well, I think it's an analogy in some way, trees for ancestral trees. So I don't know if my thoughts were along that line or not, but I had been wondering why in the last couple of months, ever since the summer when I got back, I hadn't really gotten into ancestry, and I hadn't done YouTubing, and I hadn't posted on my Facebook group. And it just seemed like every time I would start, I would get discouraged. I just felt like there was way too many choices. I'd start looking someone up, and then there'd be like, well, should I look at their DNA? Should I look at someone else's tree? Well, let's get a record. Let's see if they have a birth certificate. I was like overwhelmed. I don't know why, but I was, and I would just shut down and not do anything. And I had big hopes for when I got here that maybe that would change, and I think it is. But basically, when I was driving along that road, I was feeling that way. I was feeling like a little dejected, or like the things around me were a little doom and gloom and gray. I mean, the cars were whizzing by, trucks were whizzing by, there were things going overhead, there was things going the other way. It just seemed like there was all this activity, and I just wanted to settle. I think for me, I don't know if you're like me, but I never seem to be in the present. I'm always thinking about where I'm going, or thinking about the past, as you obviously know, because I'm always looking at past things. And I really want to be firmly grounded. I really want that feeling, and I think this trip's going to allow me that it's going to give me a chance to breathe. One of the things that came up in my mind was the day before I left for the trip, I watched a movie, and it was about this young kid who was feeling mentally unwell. I don't know if it was me, but feeling mentally unwell, and he checks himself into a psych ward. And he goes to the art therapy, and the teacher says, well, you have to do something, and it sort of brought me back to me in art, because honest to God, I can't do anything artistic. I draw stick figures, that's about it. I think there's a psychological disconnect there with art and me. And but then he started getting into it, and he started drawing these tall skyscrapers and these amazing roads, and just shading it, and there was no people, but it was like a really complex sort of cubist kind of look to the drawings, and it was great. And the reason it was great was he flashed back to a memory of when he was really young, like maybe he's 6 years old, and he's in a little pup tent, and he's frustrated, and his mother sticks her head in and says, well, what's wrong? And he's like, well, I can't get it right. I can't do what, they think I should do. And she said, well, why don't you just create something that you want? Just create it. It doesn't have to be what the world tells you. It could just be something for you. And it flashed me back to when I was young, and this was like grammar school, and I was on a bike, and I used to purposely take my bike off on a Saturday. We'd pack peanut butter and jelly sandwiches on white bread, of course, and head into the city and just purposely get lost. And then we would come back, and I would map the things that we tried. We'd go down one road, we'd go down another road, and I'd cross those off. It sort of feels like the ancestral trees, like I'm, crossing things off, and I'm trying different ways. But I think it's also an analogy for life. At this point, and I welcome you all to do it, no matter what point you are in your life, I think we need to really concentrate on what we want and what would make our life fun and exciting, and just live in that. I mean, why live in a place that you're not happy at? I mean, we only have so many years, right? I only have a few left. I'm counting the time. So I really want to concentrate. This is just a general thought process that I think Ireland for me is bringing my feet to the ground. And I hope that you can bring your feet to the ground and you can really concentrate on happiness for yourself. Okay? Take care.